Hello, everybody. Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Just Bleed Radio. Today is Sunday, the 24th of August, 2025, and this is the Weekend Roundup. Well. Good morning, USA! Hope you all enjoyed your taste of getting fights at the kind of times we get them this side of the pond. Not that yours truly was exactly happy with an 8 a.m. start time, but that's what we all had to deal with as the UFC visited China, bringing us fights from the Pearl of the Orient, the New York of China, the Paris of the East, the magical city of Shanghai. What would it conjure up for us? A good magical act has the elements of setup, confrontation, and resolution, and that sounds perfect for a UFC event. But as we all know, it only takes fumbling hands to ruin a good card trick. So, would we get a magical performance, or would the show be a failed illusion that would send viewers disappearing to their beds? Let's find out, shall we? This is episode 66 of the Weekend Roundup. I'm your host, Danger Mouse, and I'm joined by my two assistants. Not going to call them lovely. We'll start with the one that, if my knowledge of time zones is correct, had the closest thing to a UK UFC experience. I have no idea how a Friday night card worked for him. He's JBR's Twisted Tea Tester, our Californian Can Crusher. It's Austin. So, mate, did you go for the full UK experience and stay up to watch a 6 a.m. main event like a true UK hardcore fan? Or did you pussy out and watch it on Saturday?
Well, I attempted to, and then I immediately passed out by about midnight. I was a few twisted. It actually wasn't Twisted Teas this time. It was the Arizonas. I was having a good day. I'm gonna be honest. We were having a good time, and then I just died immediately as soon as midnight hit. So I didn't even get to watch a single fight. But thankfully, because I have ESPN Plus, which we will no longer have to worry about for the time being, in the future, I was able to watch them this morning. Thankfully, yeah, still had a good time. Still had a good time.
Yeah, that's a true UK experience, passing out before the fights start. This guy, I have to give some credit to. He's the watcher of more MMA alphabet soup events than any man I know. And I think he tried to pull an all-nighter because I know he was watching a show when I went to bed, and he was still on Discord when I came down at 8 a.m. to watch the fights. Not sure if he made it all the way through, though, because I didn't see him chatting much, if at all, for the main card. He's our Midwest mensch, our connoisseur of cannabis. He's the man that's never, ever going to leave a jar with an open container with 300 milligrams of THC powder in it on a table when his cat is in the same room, unless he's stoned and forgets. It's Lazy Red. Hey up, mate. How's things? Rested up, caffeinated up, ready to talk some fights? Have you killed Juniper yet?
He's still alive. I'm barely alive. My sleep schedule has been completely wrecked. I'm miserable. I'm grumpy. So this ought to be a fucking fun show. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know how you guys do it over there. More credit to you. I tried. I failed, but I'm here anyway. Let's do this.
I'm having too much fun here. Okay. If I may just ask everyone to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and leave us a comment. Help us conjure up 200 subs. It costs nothing, and it would mean a hell of a lot to us. And we do have some great content lined up that you won't want to miss. And that done, let's start with the opening fight on the main card. At welterweight, Taiyilake Nueraji defeated Keifer Crosby via TKO elbows at 3 minutes 33 of the first round. Nueraji started the fight looking like a proper wizard, conjuring some wicked ground and pound from top position, but then, in a classic misdirection gone wrong, he stood up and blasted Crosby with an illegal knee, a forbidden spell that nearly derailed the show and made Crosby vanish. Don't know who's seen this, but on Friday's Road to UFC, Campbell blasted Yang with 2 illegal knees, and Herb Dean just gave a hard warning. Shocking reffing, truly horrible. Fortunately, Goddard didn't fuck about here and took 2 points. Expertly handled mark. That's how you keep the magic act on track, unlike Herb Dean's circus. Crosby was checked by a doctor. No healing spells allowed. He was asked if he wanted to continue, and he said yes. Turned out to be a bad choice as Nueraji dropped him just a minute later, and then did what he should have done in the first place and finished the fight, dropping elbows as Crosby simply shelled up, giving Goddard no choice but to stop it. Such a shame, a great performance marred by a blatant foul. Now, I tried flipping a coin to see who'd go first, and this happened. So let's go alphabetical. Lazy, what do you want to say about this? Nueraji's sorcery, Crosby's grit. Was Goddard's call pure magic or overkill?
Okay, well, this will be the start of my what's probably going to be considered hot takes for this show. And see, here's the thing. In my eyes, every time I watch a fight, I walk away with a general synopsis, a summary in my mind of how that fight went down, and it gets filed away into my brain. It's kind of when I think back to that fight, it's what I recollect on first, or the most. In this fight, it's sadly not going to be me recollecting back on the fact that what's his name, Taiyilake here, blatantly and obviously kneed motherfucking Crosby right in the face with that fucking knee, and split him wide open, and should have potentially been disqualified. My biggest takeaway and the biggest thing that I'm going to remember from this fight is Keifer Crosby being a fucking idiot, dude. What is wrong with you? What is your problem? You got blasted in the fucking face with one of the worst, most egregious, illegal strikes I've seen in a long while. And what do you do, sir? What do you do? Not only do you not take the entire 5 minutes that's allotted to you and hurry your ass back into the fray, but you virtually no-sell the knee, and you don't express the magnitude of the situation to Marc Goddard at all. I understand you're likely concussed. You're caught up in the moment. You're in the middle of a fight. Maybe you're not fully in the right mind and your faculties aren't completely with you. But in a situation like that, you need to try to collect yourself and think clearly, or at very least look to your corner who ought to be communicating with you one way or another to get the right information to you. But if you're Keifer Crosby in that situation, you do not fucking continue that fight. You do not. It just doesn't go any further than that. You explain to Marc Goddard, I need a fucking moment. I'm not ready to continue yet. Marc Goddard gives you the 5 minutes. He continues to check on you throughout. He communicates with the doctor. And eventually, you get that fight stopped, and you either accept the disqualification that it should be, or you take the no contest at worst. But you do not continue in that fight. And if you choose to continue in that fight, this is what's going to fucking happen to you. You're going to suffer the consequences, and you're most likely going to get finished, and you're going to get finished violently. And, all credit to Taiyilake Nueraji here. I guess, it counts as a win at the end of the day on your record, but this comes with an asterisk in the eyes of the fans for your victory, and it comes with a big what the fuck from me for Keifer Crosby, because there's no excuse for you to continue that fight. And I get the whole I'm a fighter and fighters are always going to continue to fight. Like, oh, fucking bullshit, dude. This is a fucking sport, and you got to know better in that moment, and you got to make the right choice. And if you can't make the right choice and you can't value your own safety, then your fucking corner needs to, and they need to throw in the goddamn towel on you. And that fight should not have fucking continued. Marc Goddard followed the fucking rules to a T here. There's an actual flow chart of how refs are supposed to handle situations like this. Goddard handled it correctly. It's not on him. And Keifer Crosby is online right now complaining and bitching about Marc Goddard and blaming this entire situation on him. Brother, you need to take some accountability, some fucking culpability in this situation, because you are just as much to blame in this scenario. Fighters, be fucking smarter in the future. If you get fouled like that and it affects you to this point, don't fucking continue fighting. You're entitled to a fucking DQ. That's it.
Yeah, I was going to ask, I can't remember because I didn't get to rewatch it, how long Goddard actually gave him, but they had the doctor in, didn't they, and looked at him, so I'm presuming he got close to the 5 minutes. So I guess that's the only thing I could say. Maybe Goddard didn't encourage him to take the 5 minutes. And the other thing, I almost asked this question, whether the corners should be brought in and asked whether the fighter should continue. But corners are such, they don't want to throw towels in. So they'd just say, yeah, if you feel okay, man, go for it. You know what they're fucking like. So yeah, that's all I wanted to add on that one.
Yeah, well, the other thing I'll add is this doesn't fall on Goddard. All Goddard could have done a little bit better was, instead of the first question he had to Crosby being, do you want to continue? which of course the fighter's going to say yes, they want to continue. They're morons and they always want to continue. They don't value their safety. The question, the only thing he could have done better is he could have asked him, how do you feel? Do you need more time? That could have been the first thing out of his mouth. That's the worst you could put on Goddard, was he asked the wrong question first. But at the end of the day, it's on Crosby for not taking the full 5 minutes he's allowed. He rushed himself back into battle. He wanted to be a brave, masculine hard ass, and this is what fucking happens.
Yeah, all very fair points. So, Austin, your thoughts on this opener? Did that illegal knee ruin the trick for you?
All right, real quick. I did want to kind of check if I was still myself, because it sounded like I was listening to myself when Lazy was speaking. So I do like drinking. I am not in the. I don't take the. I don't have a cat, right? So just want to make sure I'm still me. Okay. All right. Cool. I don't live in Ohio. Interesting. It sounded like me over there, because yeah, he's right, man. Like, the truth of the matter is that the illegal knee landed and the appropriate actions were taken from the referee, which is what you want to see in this sport, is appropriate actions being taken by those who are involved in it, whether they be the refs, the fighters, the corner, the medical examiners, the judges, the timekeepers, and everything like that. Like, the whole thing is, when we watch the fights, you want to make sure that what you're watching is legitimate. So that way, when we look at things like this, we know that the steps are taken in the correct manner. Everything was done as it needed to be done. The unfortunate part is you forget that the fighters are still fighters, and they're going to choose to do the dumb thing. Josh Thompson, looking at you every time, and they're gonna choose the worst case scenario for themselves, even when it is something that should be in their favor. No one, I don't think, would have, like you said, no one, I don't think, would have given a whole lot of issues for Keifer Crosby had he chosen to, take the DQ. And he's well within his rights. The problem is that too, he's also looking at that bonus and looking and thinking, okay, yeah, well, I need to kind of get my money. I need to also try to get my coaches their money, and I have to try to get that extra fight bonus that comes with the UFC's, performance of the night, fight of the night, knockout of the night, submission of the night bullshit that they have. And that comes into the back of their minds. And if they didn't have to worry about that, probably the corner, probably the fighter himself, is probably thinking at that point, I don't have to do this. It's okay. But fortunately, we're in a position where they are put in a position to put their lives on the line more than what is necessary. Because that knee, it literally reminded me of Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. And Aljo was also on this card, so he probably had a flashback watching that shit. But the crazy part was they did the 2 points, which was perfect. It was 2, right? They called 2-point deductions, and that's like that's perfect. The only other thing he could have done was awarded a position to the guy who got kneed. But again, that would have been up to the fighter if he wanted to continue. He chose to continue. So yes, like Lazy said, it is on him, and it's unfortunate because, like Lazy also said, the win comes with the asterisk. No one was going to think of this like, okay, well, if he won a decision, or finished him in another manner, this was going to be okay. We're all going to be, talking about this kid for a little bit and then moving on. Now everyone's like, all right, well, the only reason why you got the win is because you fucking need him with an illegal knee. I guess it's a win. I don't know, but it is what it is. Another fight, another day, another stupid story.
Yeah, well, I'll just finish off with the Campbell Yang one. That one went actually all the way to the finish. Herb Dean did not take a point. It was a split decision, and Yang lost the fight. So he would have probably have won. In fact, he would have won it if Herb Dean had taken a point. So yeah, congratulations, Herb. You cost him on a win that he should have had. Wanker. All right, for this next fight, I felt for my own sleight of hand trick. Next up was flyweight Sumudaerji defeating Kevin Borjas, or Borjas. I'm not sure on the pronunciation there. Via decision, unanimous, 30-27 across all 3 cards, of course. Round 1, Sumudaerji was the proper spellcaster, using his length to cast what you could call leg kick curses that simply chewed up Borjas' calf like a hex on a voodoo doll. Borjas did try for a takedown, but Sumudaerji's defense was just pure magic, shrugging it off. Some cage clinching happened, but once they split, Sumudaerji went back to slinging those kicking spells. Round 2, an eye poke was the thing at the start of the round. That received another hard warning for a foul. Different ref, it wasn't Herb Dean this time. After that, Borjas had absolutely nothing to counter Sumudaerji's kicks. His leg was mangled. He couldn't find his range. So that was an easy round for the sorcerer from Shanghai. I'm not sure if he's from Shanghai, but round 3, Borjas came out swinging, desperate to break the spell, but all he could do was pin Sumudaerji up against the cage for a little bit. Ref wasn't having any of it, broke him up, and Sumudaerji closed with a dazzling flurry of kicks, like the grand finale at a magic show. No finish, but Sumudaerji dominated. As the judges waved their cards in unison, post-fight he was tossing some kind of noise, I don't know what you could call it, an incantation at the crowd, who fired him right back. He was loving it, the crowd loved it, Michael Bisping was loving it, who was doing the interview, and clearly Shanghai enjoyed this fight. And I said I fooled myself on this fight because when I watched it, I was thinking I'd pick Sumudaerji, and then I might not have enjoyed it quite so much if I'd realised that I'd actually picked Borjas. But I guess that's neither here nor there. And with those magic words, I summon Austin to wax lyrical about one of his favourite divisions. Take it away, son.
I mean, well, it was a fun fight for what I thought. I mean, it shows that, you have capable strikers in this division. And unfortunately for Borjas, it was one of those things where he was too small and incapable of finding his timing and his range, because the kickboxer, who I think was about a foot taller than him, with about maybe a foot length in reach against him, literally could not make contact on a regular basis. And when he did, it usually was with a desperate wrestle boxing game, and he couldn't get the distance closed in a good manner without eating a couple of shots and then being incapable of cornering him in a manner of which he can actually win or progress in the fight. Sumudaerji, I think, is that guy we already knew was good. We just wanted to keep our eye on him to see if he could show us how good he actually is. And in this division, with this size and this skill set, he's definitely going to find himself in a title fight as long as he doesn't kind of make dumb mistakes. It's unfortunate that the eye pokes happened. I don't think it was going to matter. I think a point deduction would have been fair, because he was warned multiple times, and he did apply the poke in a accidental fashion. But it doesn't matter. If you need to be in charge of your weapons. You're choosing to reach out with your fingers. You're choosing to grasp the face as you look for a counter takedown. Right? That's on you. You need to be aware of what you're doing. And in the same manner, it sucks for Borjas, because I thought he had a great performance at Noche. And it's, one of those things where you're just kind of like, shit. The unfortunate part of the division is when you do have smaller guys, sometimes you do have guys who just make the weight that probably are just extremely difficult style matchups as well as physical matchups. And he's on the smaller side of flyweight anyways. I still thought the fight was entertaining. Borjas tried, but to no avail. And the problem that this guy now faces, Sumudaerji, is who he's going to fight next. Because right now, I'm kind of thinking he should fight Charles Johnson. But that's just me.
All right. Lazy, you join me in missing this pick. Thoughts on Sumudaerji's spellbinding show or Borjas' cursed night? Was this fight too boring? I mean, there was no wrestling in it, really. And these are supposed to be mixed martial arts fights, right? I mean, everyone was criticizing Borjas last week for not striking. Doesn't it go both ways?
Well, I mean, not necessarily in the eyes of the fans. We do seem to favor striking more than we favor pure wrestling, or at least pure striking more than pure wrestling. But Austin, to your point, Sumudaerji has already fought Charles Johnson and lost to him back in 2024.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
I am casual.
Yeah, casual. Yeah, but no. This one for me, the lasting impression is really going to be disappointment on behalf of the Borjas side, because he's a Peruvian guy, and I always root for the Peruvian fighters because Kenny Florian is a Peruvian man. Ken Flo being my uncle, it just kind of goes hand in hand. But yeah, at the end of the day, I kind of felt like Borjas didn't really seem like he even wanted to be in there. I don't feel like he really tried too much throughout this fight. I don't feel like he was given a lot of effort. And I think Sumudaerji, who's a pretty good fighter, but he's not a standout fighter, he capitalized on that. He capitalized on a guy that really didn't give maximum effort at any given point throughout the fight. I think that Borjas stayed competitive and he stayed relatively active, but it was really just it was Sumudaerji kind of rolling downhill on him the entire fight, unable to put him away and unable to really put him in any truly precarious situations. But still a good performance from him, moving up to 18-7 now, which is a pretty hefty record for a guy that's still only 29 years old. The most surprising thing about him that I was looking at leading into this, I thought that Sumudaerji, from like my recollection, had come into the UFC maybe like 3-4 years ago. Like I felt like he was a pandemic guy. Nah, this motherfucker, he's almost been in there for 7 years. Like he's been
Wow.
around for a fucking long while. So that was kind of shocking to me. If he is going to put it together and try to get himself on some sort of a title trajectory or at least a ranked run, he's going to need to start to do it soon because you've been around for a while, guy. The miles are on the tires. So while you are still young, these fights are going to start to accumulate, and at these lighter divisions, we know how that goes. So he could still put it together and make something of his career. But yeah, my real takeaway is more of disappointment on behalf of Borjas, who I feel like is a talented guy when he puts it all together and when he's present in the cage. But off night for him. Hopefully he can, strike back and get himself back on the winning track in his next bout, because he did beat my son, Ronaldo Rodriguez. Bastard.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I didn't pick Sumudaerji when we did our dream card a couple of years ago.
Can't recall.
No, me neither. Maybe Dave can check. Probably not. Next up, we had a mass illusion. Heavyweight fight. Sergei Pavlovich defeating Waldo Cortes-Acosta via unanimous decision 30-27, 29-28, 29-28. First round, Acosta came out like a Dominican bull, throwing bare low kicks, and Pavlovich didn't take very long to counter with his right hand. Both lads were slinging with intent, moving fairly decently for heavyweights. Closest round of the three, I think. Round two, the fatigue crept in, slowing the sorcery. Pavlovich landed the harder shots. He was controlling the pace like a Sambo spellcaster, while Waldo's kicks simply lost their magic. Round three, not so much action. Pavlovich landing a looping right hand, but Waldo's chin held firm. He has got a chin on that lad. Sergei sprinkled enough solid shots across the fight to earn the nod. There was just one judge who gave him all 3 rounds, but they all gave him... all 3 rounds. They all scored it in his favour. Nice to see Pavlovich back winning, but he's not the same beast post-Tom. I picked him by decision. I was very nearly swayed by Waldo's voodoo, but I'm glad I stuck with the Russian. I think plenty hoped that Waldo would conjure up a big win, maybe a new name for Tom Aspinall, but it didn't happen, and Sergei didn't beg for a title shot post-fight. Pretty smart. He definitely needs to cast in a couple more charms before he deserves that. And Austin, you alone backed Waldo's Congos del Espirito Santo Santera over Sergei's Sambo spells. Care to explain your dodgy incantation? You California casual?
Oh, fuck off, mouse.
As I've just seen what you said to me in the chat.
Yeah, all right, fine, fair enough. There was a point in which I believed Waldo Cortes-Acosta would do some dumb things to catch Sergei Pavlovich off guard, in which Pavlovich would take the bait and unfortunately find himself on the opposite end of a bad decision. I was mistaken, because it didn't matter what Cortes had to do, or could do, or tried to do. Sergei Pavlovich kept to his game plan, which was hitting Waldo Cortes-Acosta in the face multiple times. And while Cortes tried to play it off as if he was still in a street fight, throwing tricks, grabbing the fence, and accidentally headbutting when he could, it didn't seem to matter. And that was my whole thing was this. Realistically thinking, I just thought he would kind of like fall, face first into a questionable decision against Pavlovich. But Pavlovich said, "Nah, I'm here, and I've been here, and I'm not going to just give this up willingly." So he looked like he basically just said, "Hold my beer, young guy. I'm going to put you back on the prelims." And that's what it was. I mean, you could tell one guy showed up just recently to MMA and just barely learned striking. and the other guy has been doing this for a while. That's what it looked like. And Pavlovich is not super old, but he's old enough to know the difference between a young guy trying to figure out who he is in the division and a guy who's a veteran, right? And Costa is neither a veteran nor a new guy. He's been here doing this for a good little minute. He's new to the UFC, but he's definitely missing a lot of stuff. And unfortunately, he ran into a guy who did not give a single fuck about whether or not he was going to get hit. Because they both were landing, even as awkward as Acosta's strikes were. They were both landing on each other, which, hey, Sergei's chin held up, so that's good. So did Costa's. That was the other thing, too. I was like, oh, damn, he ate some of that shit. Like, one time he even hit Costa, and Costa threw his hand up like, no, I'm not going to die today. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if you can count that as a win, but that's fine. That's fine. The whole fight was just like a sparring session that looked like one guy was like trying to get a certain look, and then the other guy was like, "Oh fuck, I'm actually supposed to be in a fight right now." That was the fight. That was the fight, and good on for Sergei Pavlovich proving me wrong. I thought it was going to be a questionable decision. This was not. This was one-sided fight. That definitely sends the Waldo's, instead of where's Waldo, we know where Waldo is. He's going to be at the bottom end of the division. That's it.
Yeah. I should apologize. Maybe my Spanish was terrible there. Maybe you could tell me, Austin. Anyway, Lazy, did this scrap teach you out, or did it surprise you in any way? What did you think?
I wouldn't say that it surprised me in any way. I think that this was pretty predictable, and I think that that's due to what you mentioned, Mouse. Tom Aspinall quite literally neutered Sergei Pavlovich. Like, he took this man's fucking balls, because the Sergei Pavlovich that existed back in like 2022, that was just smashing fucking guys, that was incredible hulking these dudes, he's gone. He's fucking gone. And I questioned that after Pavlovich's last fight, the UD win over Jairzinho, which was a safe performance. I thought, maybe this is a bounce back fight and he'll get back to his old ways. And when we see him again, surely he'll be back to smashing these dudes. And then he comes out there against Waldo. Don't get me wrong, like, it was a good enough fight, a fair enough fight. And they were throwing down for the most part, but you could just tell, man, this guy's not the same guy. He's gun shy. He's a bit hesitant. He doesn't want to put himself into the fray and into harm's way like he used to. He's not willing to go that extra mile to land those big bombs that used to give him these fucking fight-ending highlight reel performances, and that made him the name that he is in this division. And to see him now kind of in this current state that he's in, where it feels like he's just a shadow of his former self, it's kind of sad to see in a way, because he was one of the only fun guys in this heavyweight division, and to lose that, it's tough scenes. But at the end of the day, he is now back on the winning track with a streak now put together, 2 wins in a row. Took out a guy in Waldo Cortes-Acosta who was coming in off 5 wins in a row. So, a lot of people were calling Waldo kind of the dark horse of the division, saying that he had a chance to potentially meet Tommy in the near future. I don't know that the same can be said for Sergei, because I don't think that we're ready to have that rematch that quickly. But 2 wins in a row at heavyweight counts for a lot, so it's not going to take much for him to get back into the picture. It's a big win for him, and I think that Austin's kind of right. I think that you're going to kind of see Waldo relegated back to the prelims a little bit, or maybe a main card opener for like a Apex event, and they'll stick him in there against some fat fucking blown up light heavyweight or something like that. I don't know.
The Apex always needs fat guys. We know that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I kind of wonder how hard Pavlovich hit Tom. So we know he knocked his mouthpiece loose. But I'm wondering how much he connected and then didn't knock Tom out. And then, of course, a few moments later, he's getting the revelation of some kind as he stares up into the bright lights in the sky. Yeah, like I said, it is a shame to see Pavlovich somewhat neutered. But no matter. Onwards, ever onwards to the co-main, where we enter the mystical realm of the catchweight division. Great spells and offerings are needed to step into this 153-pound circle, cage. And it helps if the UFC is desperate for a co-main. Luckily for us, all the stars aligned. Before us, green-haired former champ Aljamain Sterling squaring off against Brian Ortega, who looked like he'd botched a resurrection spell at the weigh-ins. He shambled into those looking like a voodoo zombie. I'll be honest, I was distracted. I was conjured up a cracking BLT during this one. Top-notch Sarni, absolutely no regrets from me. From what I did catch, Aljo kept it standing, weaving his own magic with crisp strikes. We had another Herb Dean moment as Ortega claimed an eye poke, but it was just a punch. Nice bit of misdirection there by Brian. But Herb does not have the balls even for a 3-cup Monty. He paused the fight, giving Ortega a breather in what was probably the most significant moment of that fight. As it went on, Aljo worked Ortega's leg, marking it like a cursed talisman. I don't think Ortega was doing very much, nor was Aljo exactly lighting up the stage. But late in round 4, Aljo did land the fight's first takedown. I think we all expected more wrestling to be used to drain Ortega's potentially dodgy gas tank. But I think also that Aljo said post-fight that he'd felt the weight cut a little bit, or he was still adjusting to the 153-pound division, I guess you could say. Fair play, though. He was winning the striking battle, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Final round, Ortega's corner told him he had absolutely no to lose and to go for it. Some very solid advice, but it didn't spark much. The fight ended on the ground. Ortega was fishing for triangles, but Aljo's far too seasoned to fall for that kind of trick. There's some late ground and pound from Aljo, I think, that sealed the round off. And wasn't it Ortega who tried that eagle transformation spell a while back? Well, this time the magician reached into the hat and pulled out a mangy city centre pigeon with a club foot. 50-45 across all the judges' cards. Aljo clearly the better fighter. A solid but uninspiring performance as far as I was concerned. But I was distracted by delicious pork products. Now, Lazy, I know for a fact you wouldn't join me for a BLT, but you can weigh in on this. Aljo's sorcery, Ortega's failed resurrection. What's next for these guys?
Yeah, no BLT for me. But I do got some beef. I got some beef with this fucking fight. This is the fight that put me to sleep. Quite literally, it's the fight that put me to bed. Couldn't make it through this one. God, man, like, where do you start? This is a shit show from the very get-go. Hey, I didn't even mean to rhyme that. Literally, though, like, first of all, this fight probably should have never fucking happened. Brian Ortega, what the fuck are you doing? Once again, these horrendous weight cuts, the zombie status on the scale, shuffling his feet for the face-off with Aljo after they weighed in, like, just the 1,000-yard stare, like, what the fuck, man? What is going on with you? You know, you said you were moving up to 155 a while ago. You should have fucking done that. Why the fuck didn't you do that? You're a fool for not doing that. Who do you blame, him or his management? Oh, hey, what do you know about the management? He fucking manages Aljo, too. They share the same manager. Shout out Tiki Ghost, you fucking piece of shit prick. You are the UFC's best buddy and lapdog, much like several other fucking managers in this game. All you care about is being buddy-buddy with the brass, keeping your fucking ass rolling in the money. You don't give a shit about these fighters you represent, and this fight is fucking pure proof of exactly that sentiment. You jeopardize the health of one man. You jeopardize the livelihood of the other man. You negotiate a 5-round fight, and they only get paid for a 3-round fight. You sit there the night before this fight with people the likes of the Hunter Campbells and the Dana Whites of the world, and you hash out an agreement for this fight to take place at 153-pound catch weight. Why? Because one of your fighters has been medically told he's not allowed to cut any further than that because he could fucking die. But let's go ahead and let's go forward with this fight anyway. We got a co-main event and we got some bets to place, and people need to fucking get their parlays in. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Suck my fucking dick. You all are a bunch of fucking pricks. I don't ever want to hear you ever talk about fighter safety ever again. You don't give a shit. So if you don't give a shit, I don't give a shit either. Next time there's a situation like this where a guy is fucking wobbling on the scale and his eyes are sunk in his head and it looks like he's going to faint, and you call the fight off. No, sir. You put that man on a fucking gurney, you wheel him in there, and you prop him up because we got fucking fights to be had. So if that's the bottom line, then fuck it. And at the end of the day, we got a shit performance out of it. And, we're all the worse for watching it. So thanks for that.
Yeah, very hot. Very hot. I appreciate that one. I was not expecting that at all. Nonetheless, now Austin, I know you were saying beforehand you you did watch this one, I know, which was kind of a mistake for you. But I did once con you into making a sausage and marmalade sandwich. So I know for a fact you'd scoff a BLT if I offered you one. But I don't have any bacon to scare, but you can give us your take on these same questions, please. The performances and futures of these fighters. And if you want to finish off the manager, you're more than welcome to. He's looking pretty beaten to me right now, to be honest.
Fair. I mean, shit. Man, I don't even know where to start on this one, to be honest. And also, I would have taken the sandwich no matter what because I have been told I am a human garbage disposal. I'll eat whatever's in front of me. But here's the thing. Like Lazy said, like I feel like this fight didn't even need to take place before we got to this point. Like the booking of it just seemed weird, and then negotiating because I think it was supposed to be 5 rounds. Was it 5 rounds before Lazy? Are you aware of this or no? Because it feels like it shouldn't have been.
Yeah. Supposedly the reason for it is because they were partners with. They were both under the same manager, Aljo and Ortega both. Aljo requested this fight. He called Ortega out. Ortega took offense to that and said, "Okay, well, let's make it 5 rounds." That's the reasoning for it being a 5-round fight.
God damn it. Okay, so that's the other thing too. Okay, so like it'd be one thing if you put 2 grapplers in and they, sometimes cancel out their grappling and stand, right? If they are capable strikers. Brian Ortega has knockouts, but he is not a striker. Aljamain Sterling is a terrible striker by definition of his style. Like you looked at what Aljamain was doing in the first 2 rounds, and it's just like, all right, he definitely has never really practiced his striking, despite having Ray Longo, a coach that had been a great striking coach, in his corner before. Now, mind you, it was Merab that was there, and Merab's not really a striker either. So, I mean, I don't know who his other coach is now, but I mean, that's the other thing too, is that like, if the wrestling wasn't going to be the thing that they push first, I'm not mad that Aljo won the first 2 rounds and then just kind of coasted the rest of the fight because Brian Ortega was a husk at that point. And then the fight. Here's the other thing too. God damn it, I'm going to be on side tangents throughout this monologue that I'm going to be doing because the fight should have been stopped in the second round. I'm sorry, you can't call an end to a thing because the fighter says no, he poked me in the eye, and then you realize no, it wasn't a poke, it was a punch. By definition, that should have been the end of the fight. But whatever. I mean, I'm not going to fucking sit here and die on this fucking hill like Josh Thompson with a terrible take. But no, here's the thing. Like the promotion, the broadcast team, and fucking Herb Dean seem to be giving Brian Ortega every opportunity to do better or give him the benefit of the doubt no matter what. And it seemed like if it was the opposite, you would hear from the fans being like, "Oh my God, you're giving Aljo all the credit because Aljo's not a fan favorite." But God forbid, fucking Brian Ortega gets the benefit of the doubt because fuck, okay, well, let's just give him another title fight. He happens to win, even though this is not at 145, even though he hasn't had a fucking regular, consistent winning streak since fucking what, 2 fucking presidents ago. Get the fuck out of here, man. But like the real issue is that neither one of these guys wanted to be there, and you can tell. For all the bullshit, Brian Ortega wanted to be like, "Oh well, I'll fuck him. I'll take 5 rounds." You really didn't really do anything, man. Even when you started waking up in the 3rd round, finally realizing, "Oh, I'm in a fight. I have to figure it out." Like, yeah, and probably you're still concussed from injuring yourself or some shit. Like, I don't know, man. Like, he hasn't been the same, and I don't want to see him fight anymore. Like, this isn't fun. I'm not a fan of Aljo's fight style either because he doesn't really adjust. He's not a great striker. He's a very, very particular grappler. And the problem is that neither one of these guys had found really a footing in, since they were, Aljo moving up to 145. And on top of it, too, Brian Ortega just kind of like listly going through his career now. Like he's just showing up. He's not getting better. He's actually getting very, very worse. And there's no reason for him to continue to do this shit if he's not going to be healthy doing it. Like he's prone to injury. His weight cuts have been looking fucking worse every time out. And on top of it, his fight style has gone fucking to shit. There's no reason for him to keep doing this. Like he could probably go fuck off and do something else and probably be successful at it. Aljo, on the other hand, he was the older fighter, and he still didn't look good. Like I don't know, man. This whole fucking thing didn't need to happen. It was whoever you know who the real asshole of this is, of this whole fucking thing. Whoever decided to book this fucking fight. Like I'm sorry. It's like you did it. You should have known better. There was no reason to book this fight to begin with. But whatever.
Got something to say, Lazy? Seen your microphone come back on.
I was just gonna say the last thing that I would say on this fight is Aljamain Sterling. But he's calling for a title fight against Volkanovski. He thinks that's a possibility. No, you're not getting a fucking title fight off of a catchweight win over a fucking body bagged fucking Brian Ortega. You're coming off of a loss. Like no, but
okie dokie then. And now, ladies and gentlemen, was someone going to say something then? You were, weren't you, Austin? You interrupted me. What was it?
You said it best. There were no winners in this. Not us, not the fighters, not the fans.
Okay. I'll try again then. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the main event. Two light heavyweight magicians squaring off. In one corner, the Mountain Tiger, a Chinese sorcerer with spells of unconsciousness in either fist, Zhang Mingyang. In the other, the Tommy Cooper of MMA, Johnny Walker, a man as likely to cast self-sabotaging spells, celebrating a win, as he is to suffer stunning KO losses that defy reality. Rumoured to have trained with Scottish witches and gone on many a night's drinking with Paul Craig. Hubble bubble, make mine a double. He must have bought some lucky Heather to this fight. I knew a girl called Heather. Could never get lucky with her, even though she never wore any knickers. But I digress. Then again, it's not going to take long to talk about this fight. Although I better not start pulling Whistler-esque tangents here. Dave will get that one. This trick won't take long to unpack. Walker surprised everyone but Zhang, that is, when he dove straight for a takedown. He ended up landing in guard on the bottom. My notes score it 10-9 for Zhang, so I'm guessing he stayed there, casting his sorcery from the top. Round 2, Walker flipped the script, landed a couple of leg kicks that hit the nerve on Zhang's calf like a hex to the sorcerer's stocky legs. Zhang dropped, curled up underneath Walker's ground and pound, and Goddard waved off the ritual slaughter after Walker landed, I believe it was 33 out of 37 ground strikes on him, unanswered ground strikes at that. The stats also say Walker threw in 5 leg kicks in round 1 and 8 in round 2. Those calves just couldn't handle this Brazilian's voodoo. The card ends with the ultimate trick. Johnny, the clumsy conjurer, fools us all. Us, the Discord, even Zhang, pull an upset win over a Chinese prospect that was hotter than a Szechuan chili chicken. Apparently, Brazilians lost 10 straight main events, but Broker managed to finally break that curse. And if that stat is off, dead wrong Tony on the Morning Combat Discord, not me, he said it. Austin, care to do a pendulum. Austin, care to do a pendulum and reveal the truth behind Johnny's chaotic magic trick?
I fucking knew I should have picked him because I felt like this shit was bound to happen. Like, I picked Zhang for all intents and purposes. He should have won. This was an easy fight for him to win, and for some reason he was like, "Oh God, no, not calf kicks, not the calf kicks!" Like, like fucking. Like something out of a movie. Oh my God. Like it's just like the minute the calf kick started landing and you see him the first time it happened, like in real time, I was like, oh my God, did he get hit with something and it wobbled him? No, it was a calf kick. And then it happened again. And then you saw his leg just like give out completely and he falls. And you're like, oh my God, no. like you're shouting oh my god, like Interstellar, where he's yelling from the outside of the window, no, no. Just like watching a terrible thing happen that you could have stopped beforehand. And credit to Zane, because he tried, man. Like he tried to survive that, but like Walker was like throwing some fucking hammer fists to the back of the head and fucking like nearly tried to knee him while he was on the ground. I felt like if given the opportunity, Walker would have kneed him while he was on the ground, but just just kind of losing his shit because Walker was like getting his ass kicked. I'm sorry, like the thing that I saw was Zhang was going to be the more competent, more capable striker and land some shit on fucking Walker. And I even said to somebody, I was like, you know what? You could probably put $20 on this fight and put it on Walker just for shits and giggles, and you would be probably walking away with something. And I was right on that because god damn it, did he not just like do the goofiest shit, like fucking flopping over on himself and looking fucking like a fucking Bambi out there. He's not the original DDP, but he's pretty fucking close to it because this dude's a fucking clown in disguise. I swear to God, because he from the hilarious knockouts that he fucking gets from himself and onto others. I mean, you could kind of put a fucking you can bet on him and against him and you'll still probably win something. You'll probably go 50-50 if I'm being honest, because no one picked him in this fight, not even his own mother. I'm pretty sure that's not. Don't quote me on that, but I'm fairly certain that was the case because nobody fucking saw this fight happening this way, except for the fact that it's Johnny fucking Walker and it's goddamn light heavyweight, and of course this shit would happen. But hey, it is what it is. It's not like it's the end of the world for Zhang. Zhang just needs to get out of the win streak because he seems to fight fairly often. So if he gets back on the horse, learns how to defend a couple of calf kicks for fuck's sake, he'll be fine. If that's as far as Walker is concerned, this stops the skid that he was on, and it should be a good sign for the division that a guy who was a prospect at one point fell off the wagon, got back on the wagon, fell off the wagon again, had some hilariously terrible knockouts against him, and has knocked out a handful of really good fighters. It's good for him to see that we can see. It's good to see that we could see the actual division finally like get some turnover. And Walker's not completely out of the picture just yet, but he was on the door. He was on the door of getting pushed out of the title picture. Now he's found a reason to stay in. He gets another 2 wins, so we might see a resurgence from him and possibly fight a contendership. But we're not there yet. This is light heavyweight. Shit happens. People lose and win in hilarious fashions because light heavyweight. But it's not the end of the world for Zane.
For sure not. No. No playing teller for you, lazy. That silent act doesn't work on podcasts, and I know you've got plenty to say on this one. So, what's your take on this spellbinding upset?
Well, I would say that this is the genealogy.com fight. This is the 23andMe fight because we need to submit Zhang Mingyang's DNA to one of these websites, find out what exactly is in his bloodline, because I had no idea that this guy is actually Greek, and somewhere down the line he's related to Achilles because he's literally got an Achilles heel, an Achilles calf. I had no clue that was his weak spot. He's basically like the hippo guy character from Mike Tyson's Punch Out, like where the weak spot's his belly button. Well, apparently Zhang's is his calf. Didn't know that. Had no clue that was going to be revealed during this fight. Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker. Let's talk about him for a minute. Is there a more memeable, more like clip farm worthy fighter? Like, this dude does fucking so much shit in the lead up to fights, during fights. Like he's a walking, living meme. Shaving the mustache off to go full, Chimaev, full Muslim for this fight. It was fucking hilarious. And what does he do? Like you said, Mouse immediately shoots the fucking double leg off of the fucking hand touch. It backfires in classic Johnny Walker fashion. He winds up being mounted. No surprise there. The moments of the finish with his wild fucking unorthodox striking and the hammer fisting to the back of the head and fucking everything else that he does. It's just, even when Johnny Walker wins, it looks hilarious. The guy can't help himself. It's just in his fucking blood. Bad scenes here for Zhang Mingyang. This is the first time he was out of the first round in 17 fights. So that's crazy, and that's something there. obviously sees his fucking long, lengthy win streak get disrupted here, but he's no stranger to losing. He's got a fair amount of losses in his career, so it's not like he is some undefeated prospect that's now been dethroned. And this division, as always, light heavyweight wide open, of course, but I did not expect Johnny Walker to come out here and basically have a vintage Johnny Walker performance, in being that, Johnny Walker always wins in some wacky way. So he came out there looking like himself, now training in Extreme Couture, finally left SBG Ireland. And hey, he gets Eric Nixick a win here, and Eric Nixick's been having a fucking tough time. So, win-wins all around. It's good to see him kind of getting back to his ways of being himself, and anything is possible at 205. So, see how things shake out over the next couple months.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, that is it for the main card. So it's time for us to see what happened on the prelims. First up is me, because one of my draft picks was on the card. We had Lone'er Kavanagh facing off against Charles Johnson. Such a tough fight for me to choose the winner. Yeah, Charles is on my draft team, but Lone'er was an unbeaten guy, flying the Cross of St. George on his trunks. I did consider picking Johnson on the Discord and Lone'er on Tapology, but that would have been a bit of a bitch move, so I just went with Kavanagh on both. This kid has serious hands. Lazy was comparing him to another fighter in a chat room we were both in, but I'm not going to steal that view from him. Kavanagh was looking great until he decided to step back from a punch with his hands down low, and Johnson landed an absolutely peachy right hook that snapped Lone'er's head to the opposite shoulder and relieved him of his consciousness. Great performance from the veteran fighter, who not only took the win, but won a bonus, giving me 35 points to add to my draft score. I'm still a ways behind, but Tom will be fighting soon, and there are rumours of Shavkat fighting Sean Brady in the near future. Those rumours have been strongly denied by someone who would know. So, as Lazy pointed out, it's highly likely we will see that fight. Well, whatever the case, yours truly is not out of the race just yet. And that's me done with the prelims. So, what was your favourite, Lazy, if you want to go next?
Well, for starters, I have to talk about the fight you just fucking talked about. Really, this would have been the fight that if this show would have gone in order of things I had to say about fights, we would have led off with this one, because this one, oh my God, Lone'er Kavanagh, my brother, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck? The comparison that I was making in the chats, and it's going to sound stupid now to people that aren't watching the fight live, but as you were viewing it and it was occurring in front of you, Lone'er Kavanagh, very similar to kind of a modern 2020s new era version of a flyweight Volkanovski. The bladed stance, the striking style, just the overall grittiness, the willingness to get into grappling exchanges, and the ability to escape those situations. The size, the stature, the body frame, just very similar to a flyweight Volk. All the way down to the way he got knocked the fuck out. Because the motherfucker backed straight the fuck out of the pocket with his chin right up in the air, his hands at his fucking hips, and his feet completely fucking parallel with one another, square as could be. And what happened? He got caught by probably the longest and lankiest flyweight in the UFC, the one of the most athletic guys in the division, if not the most. He got caught squared up where most guys wouldn't be able to catch you. And he was admiring his work. He was taking pictures, as they say. He was having success on Johnson, and he just kind of, started taking the foot off the gas. So he got caught with one of the nastiest fucking KOs of the night. More credit to you, Danger Mouse. Great win here. Charles Johnson is the prospect killer. If you are a prospect, do not face Charles Johnson and do not face Christian Rodriguez. Bad ideas. If I had to pick another one, though, I guess I'll go.
What are you thinking? Charles Johnson did, of course, also beat Joshua Van, didn't he?
Exactly.
So
yes, he did.
Being beaten by Charles Johnson might be a good thing, because he's probably going to be fighting.
Who's fighting for a title? I just want to say, y'all can fuck off. Okay.
Yeah. You bastard for selecting him too. Screw you. But yeah, I guess if I got to pick one other fight to talk about, I would probably talk about the return of Kyle Daukaus, the Daukaus brothers. Not a favorite of mine, not a favorite of many. the butt of many jokes and the bane of the existence of many bettors who have put money on them and then lost that money. More so the fault of his brother Chris, but Kyle here, he does deserve some credit because he went on a hell of a tear after being cut from the UFC, stacked up several wins in a row. Well, wins that I kind of discredited because I felt like they were against wishy-washy competition. But what the fuck do I know? Because he came in here and he took out Michel Pereira, who's a bit of an inconsistent fighter himself. And not only did he take him out, he took him out a couple of times and he actually woke him up. And Michel Pereira bounced off the fucking mat like a goddamn ping pong ball. It was up on his feet by the time the fight was actually getting called off. But a good stoppage in my eyes. He was out. Those elbows thudded his head off the mat. Yeah, blonde Daukaus is now a thing, and he is back, and he's looking to make an impact.
Yeah, I was seriously considering picking him, Brad. Just couldn't bring myself to pick a Daukaus, but I know Austin did. Austin, do you got another fight you want to talk about?
Well, I was just gonna say I don't remember picking him, but but my only note on that fight.
I picked him. It was me. I picked him.
Oh, Dave, very good. I got it wrong. Well done, Dave.
You fucking, oh my god. My only note on that fight for Daukaus was, oh my fucking god, he did it. That was it. That was it. Because no one picked him except for Dave, because he's a fucking, shot in the dark kind of guy. Anyway.
Careful. Dave explained his strategy the other day, so I had to apologize for him for calling him out on this show.
No, yeah, the 10th man rule, I know. By definition, he has to pick the weird ones. That's fine.
You're just jealous.
Anyway. I was going to go for the first fight of the night, but I have to go for my personal fight of the night, which was Su Young Yu against Zhao Long. And honestly, the way this fight started didn't seem like it was going to be like super entertaining. It was just going to be one of those, okay, Yu is the type of fighter who kind of like moseys through the fight. He's a stocky bantamweight for starters, and he's pretty capable in the grappling department despite being kind of bulky. And the stand up wasn't the most amazing stand up that you saw, but these guys did not stop like trying to hurt each other was the thing. Now, Long did have a couple moments where he grabbed the shorts or something like that, and he did kind of get away with the foul here and there. They weren't like too egregious, if I remember correctly, but like he put effort into this fight though in the standing department and kept it standing when you would try to look for the takedown. And anytime that they were up against the fence, he fought tooth and nail to get to the stand up to break and then fight back into the center. And you could see the work being done. And at the end, man, I think it was straight 30 seconds of them just swinging and banging for like the end of the fight. Because it was take for tack, and you looked pretty bad, beat up.
Elbow button, wasn't it?
Yeah, throwing literal elbows was Long, and he for 30 seconds of just madness. That was my fight of the night. And I'm going to be honest, I thought Long won the fight. I mean, you can argue the first two rounds of who actually did more, but I'm going to say by definition of the amount of strikes that were landed and the accuracy of those strikes, Long I thought was robbed of a win. Not a complete egregious robbery, but I definitely thought the right guy lost the fight, and that was my personal fight of the night. And again, it extends. I think Yu is a road to UFC tournament champion, so it's extending his win streak from that moment. And it's unfortunate for Xiao because I don't know when he's going to be available to fight next. I don't know the next time they're going to go to China. It'd be ideal if they could do more events out there regularly because you have these guys like Rong Zhu, Riza, like these guys who are out there and they're they have really like ridiculous records for either being on the other younger side, and the regional scene here is legitimate from what I could tell. You're not going to get maybe a champion out of them, but you're going to get some real good fucking fighters out of it. And the UFC can always use that on a regular basis. I just would, I would like it if we could see more of these guys on a regular basis. I know they don't always come out to the Orient or the Southeast area regularly, but it would be nice to see these guys fight more often, or at least be given opportunities to fight closer to their home countries. Is all.
Okay. Yeah, Zhao Lan, I know both myself and Lazy picked him because he has a massive reach advantage, and I think we both expected him to manage to pick away at the other guy and just beat him. And I also know that Gaff on main card minute was very, very upset when he lost. I presume he had money on him.
Yeah, and the fact that that fight was scored unanimously by the judges was pretty weird to me. Like, not a single one of those judges gave long either round 1 or round 2. So like, they were unanimous in giving you those rounds across the boards. But they did all give him the third, which seemed obviously, you give him the third, but I don't know. I felt like at least one of the judges would have given him one of the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I was only half watching it, but I would have been happy if he'd have taken it.
No, if you watched it, you would have thought Long won the fight. Honestly,
I think I was too busy laughing at Gaff exploding in the main card minute chat room.
As he's prone to
fair
do.
enough. That's fair.
Yeah. So that's the card reviewed. So I guess it's that moment. It's time to rate that card. Who wants to go first?
Well, I
Do you want to wax? Do you want to wax poetically, Lazy?
I don't know how much waxing I'm going to do. If I'm Mr. Miyagi, I'm going to be doing more waxing off than I'm going to be waxing on. Okay, well, let's view it for what it is. We went back to China. We had a China card. The fucking crowd was electric. Those guys were dynamite. They were hanging on every fucking strike. A very educated crowd, seemed to be very tuned in with what was going on, knew when to cheer, when to boo, and did so in unison. It was pretty fucking amazing. Like, I was shocked by the crowd. They're very, very into it. So I hope that we get to go back there soon. I'm sure the fighters did not love it. A lot of travel, a lot of jet lag and adjustment, I'm sure, and culture shock even. But I think it's clearly something that they're trying to set up for the future. We're going to be taking more trips to this area. We got a PI over here. We got the road to the UFC. Like, we're looking to invest in this region of the world. So I think it's cool that we got that out of this event, kind of that glimpse into the future maybe. But some of the fights did not deliver. There was a good amount of decisions and fairly boring decisions. Questionable things throughout. Some questionable officiating, some questionable judging, some questionable booking. A time that I did not love. I did not love the time of this card. The last time I can remember a card this bad was the Macau card, where it was Max versus Korean Zombie. That was around the same time. That was tough. Yeah, didn't love that. But I gotta give it its just due. There was a fair amount of finishes. I'm not gonna dock it too much. I'm kind of waffling here. Let's give it a 6.5.
Pretty fair. Austin?
Was that a play on Daukaus?
No, but it should have been.
Lol.
Austin, you want to go next?
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna go best. My apologies.
I gave the clue away when I asked you before whether you wanted to go next or not. But...
Fair enough. My thing of this is like, the biggest issue I had was Brian Ortega and Aljamain Sterling being 5 rounds. Like that. That within itself should minus it. Like, if I'm going to do a gymnastic style, like, the best it could have been is 10. Shout out to AK. If we're starting at a 10, that instantly reduces it to a 3. Right off, or I'm sorry, instantly reduces 3 points off of it. Deduction of 3 points. We're at a 7. All right. Now, the time didn't help me because I tried to stay up and immediately passed out by about midnight, day before even the real card started, I guess. But whatever, it is what it is. Watching it, this morning, I wasn't able to watch all of it, so that's another, point off of that. So we're at about 6 right now. The fights, the way they played out, some of the decisions I thought were questionable, but the point deductions being applied is another point, another minus point for Herb Dean just existing. I'm going to say 6.5 is about right for me too. I'll say 6.5.
Okay, that's not too bad then. I'm going to do a nice thing. I enjoyed this card for the most part. Like I said, for the opposite reasons for lazy, mainly because of the time it was on. It wasn't so much watching the fights; it was having the time to get everything ready for the show, rather than having to record it 15 minutes after I'd finished writing whatever shit down I had to write down. But so I'm going to show some respect to our Chinese friends here, and I'm going to give a very, very lucky number in Chinese. I'm going to give it a 6.98. So that's my score.
Very specific.
6, 6, 8, and 9 are all lucky Chinese numbers. So there you go. We'll see if we can be a bit more lucky than Zhang was in the final.
I heard that, ladies.
All right, you guys have any other news you want to talk about? I know PFL was on this week, and Dakota revealed that she's dating fellow PFL fighter Dalton Rosta, Hercules. They both turned up dressed up for the show in Dakota's beloved pink. So I guess we know who wears the trousers in that relationship. She turned up and had to watch him get his face pounded in. So I guess we also know. Who the best fighter is in that relationship. Amazing end to that fight though, when Leon Edwards' brother Fabian Edwards landed a headshot dead kick directly on his head on the anniversary of Leon doing exactly the same thing to Kamaru Usman. What a fucking moment in sports history. Dakota looked heartbroken, covering her eyes up and chatting to a friend who she was sat with. So yeah, either of you guys have anything extra to add?
Well, I would say about that Dalton Rosta getting knocked the fuck out and the reveal of the couple that was one of the worst kept secrets in MMA. A lot of people knew these two are already an item.
One of her vlog videos I saw, he was laid on the bed playing some video game, and it was like,
right.
I've never. The only man I've ever seen in Dakota's apartment is Cody, her brother. So yeah, it was not a surprise really to me. I didn't know who the fuck it was, but it wasn't a surprise when she announced she had a date.
The more strange thing here was the timing of the, quote unquote reveal. Peculiar time to put added pressure on yourself and added like public scrutiny and whatnot. Now, to top it off, like that's something you announce after the fight. You know what I mean? Like, but anyway, to top it off, the inside of his little rinky-dinky pink suit jacket, he had the lining like screen printed with the PFL championship, and it said like Dalton Rosta 2025 PFL tournament champion. Oh, that didn't age very well, buddy. That aged like fucking milk.
He tried to go to Poirier and failed.
Exactly, yeah. Couldn't pull it off. You are not La Leyenda, sir. But a lot of people, they were kind of torn on this PFL broadcast because they didn't like that the PFL showed Dakota's reaction to her boyfriend getting knocked the fuck out. I think I mentioned this somewhere, and I think Dave was in the chat. I personally just think it was good TV. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, that's
they do it to any other fighter.
Exactly. Yeah, you show their family, their friends, their
we
kids,
see it all the fucking time. We see it all the fucking time. No one is, special.
You ain't safe.
Shown.
You ain't getting spared. But yeah, the only other thing I would mention before we close out today is I would say there was a lot of really good regional MMA over the weekend. If you got Fight Pass, you can go back and watch several things. But catch up on the road to the UFC semifinals, I believe it was. LFA had a card that was really good, fucking stacked with finishes. Fury FC also put on a good card. Where actually the prelims were really good with amateur fighters, and then Tough Enough as well over the weekend. Tough Enough had some really fun fights. Tough Enough, of course, the place where Sean Strickland stormed the cage not long ago, and is now under suspension due to that. But guess who was in the building for the Tough Enough event last night? Just last night. Yeah, Sean Strickland. He was there. He was in the building. So. Well, I don't know what's going on there, but he's suspended. But anyways, if you want to watch some regional MMA, lots of good regional MMA from this past weekend on Fight Pass.
Yeah, Road to UFC was very worth watching. I enjoyed that one, apart from Herb Dean's performance in the first fight. Austin, anything to add to this one?
No, just I thought the head kick was fucking brilliant, but the the main thing I kind of took from it was, Fabian was never kind of that guy you looked at and thought he was going to be something special. You knew his brother had moments of specialness attached to him, especially with his whole finish of Kamaru Usman. You didn't really have any expectations for Fabian until he entered this tournament and took out the former champion right off the bat in Shanghai, and that set the table for this because he had faced Johnny Eblen and twice had lost to him. It was unfortunate, but he put a good faith effort in both tries. Came up short. Now this time is actually him separating himself from being his Leon's little brother to Leon's championship brother. And he's doing his own thing, which is nice to see. It's usually hard to kind of step out of your siblings' shadows, especially if they have achieved greatness. Good for him. Good for him. Well deserved. If you don't want to get put on a jumbotron for reactions, don't go to the event. That's all I could say.
Yeah, for sure. I should say I woke up the morning after this event. I didn't stay up to watch any of the fights, and I woke up the following morning, flicked on Discord, and there was just notifications everywhere for me, and it was all the guys saying, revealing the news that Dakota had turned up with some boyfriend, and that, they were going to get him for me, or I must be heartbroken. Listen, guys, I've got more chance of pulling Dakota's mother than I have of pulling Dakota.
Hey, well, before we get out here, though, real quick, shout out also to now two-time PFL world champion Antonio Carlos Jr., affectionately known as Shoeface. This is a guy that at one time he was considered like UFC roadkill. He was scraps. Like, he got cut and people thought his career was done. He has now resurrected that, won the PFL championship twice, made more money than he was ever going to make at the UFC. Probably changed his life. And sometimes misfortunes can be secretly new opportunities in disguise, because this guy took what looked like a bad thing and getting cut, and it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to his career. So shout out to fucking Shoeface.
Good news indeed.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess that's about it from us this week. There's no UFC next week other than Dana White's Contender Series. I'm not sure what we'll be doing. We do have a few things in the pipe, but it's far too early to announce them just yet. If you've made it this far, thanks for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Hopefully we'll find enough to talk about for a Sunday Night Scuffle or just one of our roundtable episodes next week. If you can think of a topic you'd like us to discuss, either leave a comment here or on the Discord if you're a member there. Until then, it's time for us to say goodbye and disappear in a puff of smoke. I've been Danger Mouse, they've been Austin and Lazybed, we've been Just Bleeding Radio. Say goodnight, girls.
Bye, motherfucker.
Good night. We did it. Yeah. Fucking
Austin, you motherfucker. If I was still doing 10th man, I would have picked Johnny Walker, but I didn't pick Johnny Walker.
I mean, you're just pulling 10th man out of your ass now at this point. It's fine. I know your secret.
No, I didn't do it. I knew that Daukaus was going to win. You fucking guy.
No, fucking out of here, dude. No one fucking believed that. You didn't even fucking believe that. Get out of here.
You notice Dave's kept recording because he's arguing. It's an obvious.
I know.
You'll be shot straight off the minute the show ends.
Fucking come at me like that. I fucking told you. Yo. Hey. For the sake of the times, we gotta get going on this shit fight.
Welcome to my world, bitches.
We can't. It's the Sunday Night Scuffle After Dark special.
Yeah, only available on Patreon.
Onlyfans.com/JustBleedRadio.